Hello, my name is Eric Elwin, and I'm a history instructor and curriculum specialist at Seattle Central in Washington, and I'm here to ask a very simple question. What does the future of technology and education really look like? I mean, we may have some idea of what we would like that future to be, but does our vision really align with that of student needs? Let's face it, there's a civil war brewing on the horizon between traditional forms and more modern constructions of the curriculum. It's a fisticuffs, if you will, of ideology in which technology challenges traditional methods of education and questions their applicability in a 21st century learner-centric community. It leads us to question not only why this battle ensues, but what steps we can take to merge towards consensus for the benefit of our students. It also begs the larger question of what types of technology are legitimately promoting student success and who decides what they are, how they'll be implemented, and finally, why they even work. So what if we didn't ask these questions, didn't make these decisions in a vacuum, and instead just allowed students to help us piece together this puzzle of technology and education, become partners in the designing of curriculum that's not only fundamentally effective, but fits their wants, their needs, fills that gap between institutional and student goals for success. Because without student input, technology integration, well, it's like an empty room full of potential, necessary ingredients, yet missing vital components. Whitaker and Jules suggest that if the three most important words in real estate are location, 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 the three most important in education are relationships, relationships, relationships. That's why these slides were provided by my students, because they have a voice and they want a seat at the table when it comes to deciding their future. Their voices are loud and they are many. Often, however, we see them not as the collective that they are, rather as individual voices, drowned out and forgotten. So if we look closely, we can see just how students envision their future. This student sees hers as one that's untethered from text. She wants her education to be portable, not just anchored to one location. This student's future, as well as the others, depends on our ability to recreate this scene. This student sees his future as one in which he can work with others in small groups, but also one in which he isn't ported to a traditional classroom seating structure. He sees the classroom as not only a space where technology is utilized, but one in which he isn't cramped and congested, where space is at a premium. As teachers, we often take for granted our freedom of movement within the classroom. We have mobility as we teach. Students, however, they're restricted not only in their movements, but also in their focus on content. Our practices say to them, hey, up here on this board is the only place you're going to get the information you need. On the contrary, this student sees her role as the active central figure rather than a stationary passive recipient of learning. Students are eager to become technology navigators on day one. Mark Prensky asserts that the teacher's job is to let them work until they have convinced themselves and you that they have mastered the required skills. Most of my students want the future of education to look just like this. A collaborative approach in which students are engaged because they're within arm's reach of technology. They see a world in which they aren't limited or restricted from having the same access their teachers have. A future where, at the touch of a screen, they're in command of their education alongside the teacher. Currently, students see their time in the classroom as boring. They see it as a one-way relationship in which teachers are asked to utilize technology in the same traditional structure, leaving students with this look: unenthused, non-receptive, and disengaged. This student, however, sees his time in the classroom as an interactive endeavor in which he has the opportunity to not only generate new ideas, but share his vision with his classmates through presentations he constructs. A progressive shift forward in utilizing technology that engages student participation. From the moment they're old enough to step into the educational arena, students are lobbying for technology. They relish this opportunity to start building connections between their future and education, and don't feel they should have to wait until elementary or middle school to utilize technology in their classrooms. They see a future with unlimited possibilities, one in which they are mastering technology not only to create their own learning environments, but manage their own schedule virtually. This student sees the unlimited potential for her educational future as limitless outside the realms of the structured classroom environment. as does this student who envisions a postgraduate future in science as a departure from the endless hours of manual documentation and typing involved in research and the analysis of data. Like Tony Stark, this student mentions he wants an interactive relationship between himself, his education, and technology. Students also want the freedom to laugh while they learn, sharing that in high school we use technology to encourage a competitive learning environment. Kahoot is just one example of an educational game we could play in class. They want to have fun together because they feel it would be a more comfortable place to share ideas. They also want the freedom to access and utilize social media in the classrooms, to engage their own constructive community contributions. Michelle Pacansky-Brock shares that as the popularity and daily use of social media continues to increase, participatory learning is reshaping the way we learn and teach. Many international students see the future of education and technology as a distance partnership between themselves and their schools. Language barriers, social awkwardness are just a few of the reasons more and more students are veering away from traditional face-to-face formats in favor of instruction facilitated by technology. All in all, students see the future of education and technology as an issue of social justice. Students just want to be liberated from their pens, their pencils, their paper, their desks, their chairs, their books, the whiteboard, and in some cases, the classroom. The future of technology and education for them is freedom.